Many thanks for joining us on Business Now. I am Omobolanle Adeshui. The federal government on Wednesday said marketers who engaged in racketeering activities were responsible for the rising cost and scarcity of premium water spirit in parts of the country. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipre Sylva, revealed this while briefing State House correspondents on the outcome of the Federal Executive Council presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. Sylva said though the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited had ensured the supply of fuel nationwide, there were still challenges at distribution points. He explained that the ministry had issued directives to end racketeering, which had led to soaring fuel prices, but those directives have fallen on deaf ears, even as supply bottlenecks persist. Sylva again directed the regulatory agency to sanction errant filling stations. The petroleum minister, who insisted that PMS was now available nationwide, blamed the scarcity on factors outside the control of his ministry. Sylva said the NNPC Limited had assured the Independent National Electoral Commission that petroleum products would be available for the exercise. And the Federal Executive Council, FEC, also on Wednesday approved the sum of 117 billion naira contract for the construction of the Oloibiri Oil Museum and Research Center. This was disclosed by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipre Sylva, at the Presidential Villa while speaking with journalists at the conclusion of the council meeting chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari. The minister said the contract was awarded to Julius Berger PLC with a completion target of 30 months. The federal government on Wednesday said it had no funds to finance the establishment of another agency or agencies in Nigeria, as the ones already in existence were already too many. It disclosed this in Abuja at the Ministry's Department and Agencies Consultation Session to review the proposed draft of the Creative Industries Development Bill. The Nigeria Creative Industries Development Bill 2023 seeks to establish a Creative Industries Development Commission and provide an enabling environment for the creative industries in Nigeria and other related matters. Speaking at a consultation session, the Director General, Budget Office of the Federation, Ben Akabweze, said while the government would continue to support the creative industries, it would not support the creation of additional agencies because it lacked funds for such. He observed that there were two key parts of the proposed bill, as the first had to do with the establishment of the commission, while the second was on the provision of an enabling environment. Akabweze said the office that he currently heads will not support on any condition the establishment of yet another agency of government, adding that they have for long maintained that the sector needs to harmonize and streamline the agencies so that they stop dissipating resources and focus on growth. Oil marketers on Wednesday said the supply of premium motor spirit, PMS, popularly called petrol, had not yet stabilized, and this was why queues were still prevalent in many parts of the country, aside Abuja, where it had reduced. Reacting to the statement of the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, that few queues would clear in 1 week, the marketers expressed optimism but insisted that it would be tough to enforce the 195 naira per litre government-approved price on all filling stations. This came as the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria revealed on Wednesday that NNPC had promised IBman that it had set aside about 140 million litres of PMS for members of the association in a bid to address their fuel supply challenges. Commenting on the remarks made by Kyari as regards clearing fuel queues, the Secretary, IBman, Abuja Suleja, Muhammad Shuaibu, said they cannot just conclude now that the problem is over, as they have to give it a week or thereabout. The World Bank has warned that the newly designed Naira, which came into circulation last week, could have a detrimental effect on economic activity, especially for poor Nigerians. due to the timing and short transition time. The Washington-based bank revealed this in a new report titled, quote, Nigeria Development Update, which comes amid mixed reactions that the new redesigned notes had left behind. The Central Bank of Nigeria last month issued new 1,000 naira, 500 naira and 200 naira notes as part of efforts to reduce excess currency in circulation, ransom payment for kidnapping, terrorism financing, and counterfeiting, among other things. The World Bank, in its analysis, however, warned that the new regulation would significantly affect smaller firms, especially those with day-to-day cash transactions. The report suggested that rapid demonetization can generate significant short-term costs, with small-scale businesses and poor and vulnerable households potentially being liquidity constrained and relying heavily on day-to-day cash transactions being particularly affected. The Nigeria Governors Forum has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to extend the deadline for the swap of old naira notes. The governors also demanded a review of the Central Bank of Nigeria's cashless policy. The position of the governor is contained in a letter dated February 6th, addressed to Buhari and signed by Aminu Tambuwal, Governor of Sokoto State and Chairman of the NGF. In December 2022, the CBN directed deposit money banks and other financial institutions to ensure that over-the-counter cash withdrawals by individuals and corporate entities per week do not exceed 100,000 naira and 500,000 naira respectively. However, following protests against the policy by Nigerians, the Apex Bank increased the maximum weekly limit for cash withdrawals across all channels by individuals and corporate organizations to 500,000 naira and 5 million naira respectively. In the letter to Buhari, the NGF said while the policy is intended to address the contradictions in the fiscal environment, poor execution of it would hurt the economy and have a disproportionate impact on the most vulnerable. National Chairman of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, Alhaji Shehu Gabam, has condemned in strong terms the current hardship Nigerians are going through as a result of the cashless policy program of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Alhaji Gabam, in an exclusive interview with IBrandTV news crew in Abuja, said those supported the police condemned the method of implementation. The national chairman of the party called on the president to, as a matter of urgency, ensure that Nigerians get back their monies in commercial banks.
There's nothing wrong with policy, but everything is wrong with the implementation of the policy. This is not the first time Nigeria is changing her currency. This is not the first time other countries are changing their currency. But you cannot suffocate their citizens, deny them right to get access to their money in the bank, to which the law says that you can access your money anytime you want to access the money. The government cannot come up with a policy of changing currency and at the same time deny the citizens to have access to their money in their own account, to take care of themselves, their family, health issues, educational issues, daily demands that you require some little resources to deal with. You can't get access to it. And some of the banks are selling the new currency in a government that defined itself as anti-corruption government. I want to thank the EFCC and other security agencies for arresting some of the managers of the bank. Because it's like we are in a banana republic, a very lawless system, where bank recklessness, irresponsibility could lead to anarchy. As I'm talking to you, information available, Zenith Bank are closing down, First Banks are closing down, citizens are in panic, anarchy is looming, people are dying in the bank, people are stripping naked in the bank because they cannot have access to their own sweat that they have deposited in the bank. There's nowhere on earth these policies have ever succeeded. And there was no justification absolutely for this. I'm not against the change of the currency. Don't get me wrong, I'm not. But then the policy, the implementation of policy is comprehensively faulty. People that are in the villages that survive on 2,000, 1,500 naira, you have taken life out of them. They cannot sell their goods, their perishable goods, their goods and what have you, and then have access to the money. I mean, since you have said that the old currency will be illegal tender by the 10th of February, yes, let them be illegal tender, but you cannot say you cannot accept them. You can accept them and replace them. It's a continuous process accepting old tender. You take them out of circulation. But what justification does Central Bank of Nigeria have to give order to the banks not to pay at the counter? That people can access their money through the ATM. What justification do they have?